we're here in the darkness. You think the darkness is your ally? You simply adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I see the like so dead that I was but a man. We out here gooning, baning, as promised. Comics and caffeine, drinking mate right here. Can't see it too well. We'll be talking about my comic. That's right, my comic one shot, which is once again available physically and digitally. Just go to newdroppers.com. It'll take you directly to where it's available. Physical version brings a whole bunch of cool stuff. Supplies are limited, all right. But today we're just gonna be kind of reviewing it. I guess you could say it'll be like a little creators commentary. All right. You know, I love doing the coffee reviews. They're very fun. You know, I love to draw comics. You know this. We're gonna kind of take it in that kind of direction, comics and coffee. So METALLION, this was made in 2020. METALLION, I like the little title. It's meant to represent her arm blades. And on the cover we have Eve, which if you follow me, if you're on the Patreon, you know that she's changed a lot, bro, a lot. METALLION, the one shot by me back in 2020. This was like my first dive back into comics. Of course I had guidelines online, like people who, like Jim Mahfood was a big help in like figuring out how to make a comic, or Lewis, of course. I wanted to use the one color, kind of like black and white, but you know, black and white, they call it grayscale, I call it red scale. This was a very like in and out type of comic, very quick 20-page story. In, get the fuck out, tell the little story. Page 1, this the first page. It's kind of gonna set the tone for the whole thing, right? Like I said, I didn't have any script. I was kind of just going off my off the noggin. I want to make something cool, something fun. I just want to make something. So I mean, let's break this down. Orochi, if you know King of Fighters, you know Orochi is the big bad guy. It's also in like Japanese mythology, like Taoism, like Orochimaru from Naruto. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes from the mythology Orochi. So I thought this was a little clever, because Roach, kind of, because they're kind of, you know, they're Yakuza, they're kind of scum. And this is the setting. It's like a little warehouse, right? And you can kind of can't tell. And we have 3 silhouettes. I wonder who that is. So obviously, you know, we're gonna be following the story through the eyes of these 3. We got Data over here on the left, Eve in the middle, and Ash on the right. Kind of going along with the flow of the panel itself. Yo, you know shit's about to go down. This was very like inspired by like video games and stuff, like especially what was it, Mega Man, dude? Oh my god. This was like Mega Man X, Mega Man 9 type stuff. At the beginning of the mission, they're like, ready, go. I remember this one. I almost did the shadow like very different, and I think I would do it different now, but damn, it came out sick, dude. Goddamn, I like the flow of this page too. It's like going straight down. This was a pretty straightforward page. Damn, look at that. The shading on this one. Just tiny as head. But like the light from the gunshots off of them, because this is from like almost 4 years ago, man. You gotta, like, I haven't looked at this in a while, so just pretty cool to like look back on your own stuff, and you see the action lines in the back. And you know, I did get lazy when I was doing some of the layouts and stuff when I was getting it ready for print. Like some stuff I didn't, like the line I didn't cut, which I should have, but no. For like a small like one shot type thing, I think it's still pretty cool. There was a lot of like experimenting and to see what works best as her weapon, right? Her like main ability. eventually I came to like the idea of her being able to make her blood harden, almost like pretty much like metal, which also ties in with the the title METALLION. So the original idea for Metal Red, which is we have some good early concept stuff up on the Patreon. So the original idea was like she would harden her blood, and it would even make like a little forearm like armor. And I wanted to expand on that in later installments where she would be able to like but there's a limit, like she could only use the blood in her body, right? And there was one look that I really liked of hers where she could like make a little face mask out of her blood, and it was kind of like the same like look as this forearm armor. It would be like right here, her face, kind of like what's that dude, the Winter Soldier? And you can see even like blood flowing here. I just showcased pretty much Eve's ability. I wanted to show like pretty much this guy's strength. I love this one. I don't do these often, but I really like how I did this one. I forget what it's called, where it's like you show multiple images of the same character doing an action in one like shot or panel or whatever. It's a common thing in comics, but I really like how I do this. Like I said, I don't do it often, but I really love the motion here. You don't even have to see it, but you can imagine like he just fucking arm barred him and fucking sent him fucking flying. That's how strong he is. Showcase kind of like who Data is, what he's capable of. Dude, I think that you know what I think that is? I think that might be Eve decapitating someone. Yeah, I guess this is almost 4 years ago, and I can't remember. I like the use of the black all around here. And here too, I really like how I made it look like anxiety, Of course, the little anime lines of his face, he's freaking out. This also kind of leans into like who this guy is, Because that's kind of like what comics are. And I didn't really get this until like just recently. And I'm pretty surprised that I did all this instinctively, like organically. The JoJo creator, Hirohiko Araki, in his book, he talks about you should have your characters fleshed out. Essentially, just kind of let them act as who they are. If you have them fleshed out enough, they'll kind of like make their own decisions, and you don't have to really make or force anything to happen. So it's kind of leans into the whole Roach, like this guy's scum. He obviously doesn't give a damn, like when he hurts other people, just when someone's out for him. This is pretty cool. It's like her, she's literally climbing up the steps to take care of business. She's literally climbing towards her goal, and I love this little panel. I was really trying to smush, not too much, but like enough to make a coherent story, coherent action. It's not as easy as it looks. So it gets hit in the head with like a little canister thing, which ends up being an explosive. Fucking insta kills him, and we get a little showcase of Ash. Now you know what he does. He's kind of like the explosive expert, right? And he's crazy. He's like the wild card. This is like super reminiscent of like beat 'em up platformer type games. Look at his fucking face. Yeah, man, I like this one. I feel like I could probably definitely added some stuff up here for the background, but pretty good as it is. As opposed to this, I feel like I maybe added too much background in a small panel. This, if you're not paying attention, like it's a little hard to understand what this is, but it's pretty much like the railing from the beginning that he threw someone through. See, I like these little action like blurs. I've gotten a lot better at them, but it's cool to see like my one of my first attempts at that type stuff. This is I think the only splash page I have. These two up here and kind of to balance the page out. Yeah, I love this page, man. I'm very proud of this one. I always put this one to like share some highlight pages. Again, Jet Set Radio over here, and then her eyes close up, super close up, which I learned not to do too much in the comic. Especially, I forget which one was. It was like the sequel to like Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War. The comic, the actual comic, there was like, I forget who criticized it, but it's like there's a bunch of close-ups like that, which doesn't necessarily mean it's good. There's like one talking about how his name Adam Warlock, he was like the Messiah or some shit. That's for a whole different topic. I think this is the only page that doesn't have any dialogue. Just pure motherfucking action, bro. This might be my favorite page from the whole comic, just because of how much action and how nicely it flows, man. The one thing that did always bother me though, and I'll say this as the the creator, it always bothered me that she went all the way up there, killed all those people, right? She went all the way up there, killed all those people just to get to the door, right? Just to have to just fall back down to the bottom level, which I mean is not that big of a thing, but for me it was always like in the back of my head, like and we get a nice little almost like a video game world map view of the area. This one took me like some thinking to draw. High five, damn, that's sick. High five, dude. Yeah, man, I love this. This is good right here. The good stuff. We still got to go literally have to cross through the door to the darkness, you feel me? To the final boss in a way. I wish I had used different sound effects for the footsteps, right? But I do like the shadow here, the fire, and like the light coming in. I didn't think a lot of people would be as sad, or not sad, but like what the fuck, when I blew him up, kablam, his body parts are coming everywhere, little computer pieces, and he's like, damn, was that easy? But yeah, this was a lot of people I guess didn't expect this. I don't know if they didn't like it, but I know they weren't expecting this. But I mean, I guess it is kind of implied that like he killed him, and you know who that is, bro. You know who that is. Funny enough, this was actually the very first page that I had sketched out before starting on the rest of it. I kind of had the idea of like this scenario, I guess, first, and then I just jotted it down and kind of built the rest of the comic to build up to this moment, because it's like, damn, now we get to see who Eve really is, and even the art style is kind of like on this one, it's kind of different from the rest of the comic. It's very like subtle, but you can tell a little bit. Yeah, I'm so stupid. I was throwing like puns in here left and right, like I was trying to get the motion that like she was going like one bit by bit. So that's what these like big black parts are. Like she went like all in one, like ba 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 ba, So I hope that's like it made sense there. You'll always be a little bit. He cuts his legs off, dude. Too short. What, dude? METALLION? We got fucking the master of puns, dude. Jeez. Yeah, I like this panel a lot. The blood is kind of everywhere, but I like how he's silhouetted and you kind of follow his feet. I like this one because this is kind of like struck a chord, right? He's like, oh, you're just a killer rat. Man, I should have said killer roach, man. You're just a cockroach. Oh, that would have been so good. Taste it. What? HIV, dude? This was something I wanted to expand on too in like later renditions and stuff of METALLION. But obviously a lot has changed now. But it's like it was the idea of like where Eve, because her power is like blood or whatever, she's limited to only the blood in her body. But if she were to like, for example, consume someone else's blood, that would give her kind of like a, how do you say it? Like a berserker mode, like, overdrive mode, limit break, if you will. So this was something I wish I would have solidified also. But that's why we do one-shots, right? That's why we do like comics to experiment, so we can solidify later on. I didn't like the idea of Ash being powerless, so I gave him like pyrokinesis pretty much. And here in the one-shot at least, he's still kind of learning it. But he blew up the truck, which in turn blew up the warehouse. So that's what all that's about. I wish I had made it a little clearer and solidified it a little more. But what are you gonna do? Got the spliffy. This is a cool shot, man. I had some trouble making this shot as well, but I really like the perspective here. It's pretty. I really like this shot too. It's like a nice little in and like zooming out, like kind of like you're leaving now. Bye bye. The one thing I don't like is the dialogue low. I definitely should have made it clear. I wish I had put this. This could probably go up here somewhere. This definitely needs to go between these. Probably like somewhere here. And this I could have probably put like around here. That would have been a lot better. Data's head. So yeah, hey man, that's my one shot. What can I say? It's definitely changed a lot. If you know, once I get more metal red, which is coming, you're gonna see how much it's changed. But I just kind of wanted to go over my comic. The cool thing about this one, I had it at a local comic shop around here. I've given them like 11 copies or so. I forget how many. And they had sold out pretty fast. But a lot of them were like family friends, which I do appreciate, but at the same time it's like I want, you know, new readers. I don't want people who necessarily know me, if that makes sense. Yeah, what else can I say? METALLION, the one shot, I did it all organically, really, like no script. I just kind of made the story off the top of the dome. Like I said, I wanted to make like a little in and out, get in and out real quick type story. The thing with these kind of stories is like you may not have everything solidified, right? But like as you go, there'll be some things like Ash, his powers and stuff, that'll kind of happen on their own in the story, which I thought was pretty cool. Like I said, it is available digitally and physically on my Gumroad. You could get everything full resolution. Yeah, I had plans and ideas to make this like a full series, but in the end it kind of grew into something very different. There's a chance when we could go back to the original, make something of it, but for now it's just gonna stay as the one shot. I'm very happy with the one shot. I've been doing comics since I was like a kid, man. But this is in high school I had a couple of like manga, like real leaning into like a real manga style one shots that I never finished. I never made anything of, and this is the first one I think I have ever that I like completed. And I think the overall work time on this one was like a month's work of like work, obviously like spread out through like 3 months or something. Sketching, getting the story ready, and like the layouts and stuff, that takes the longest time. But once you have those, you can really have fun with like the inking and the lines art and stuff. It's really cool. Oh yeah, there's another thing. The one last cool thing. So like this shade of red right here, right? The predominant shade of red, the dominant shade of red. That's actually, I got that from the big red can, because I wanted a little like psychological thing. I wanted, you know, obviously they choose that shade of red or whatever to kind of guide your eye to it, to seduce your eye, if you will. And I wanted to kind of have that same psychological effect with my comic, kind of like have the soda can type color, just to like have your eyes glued to it, you know, not glued, but like I wanted people's eyes to go to it like flies, man. I chose the big red shade of red. I made it the main red, and I actually use it for a lot of stuff. There's a little trivia. Yeah, like I said, it's available on my Gumroad, both physical and digital. Like I said, physical comes with like a bunch of cool stuff. Yeah, check it out, please.